Live. What's up, Weekend Warriors? Welcome back to another episode of Sunday Night Stream. I'm sorry that we didn't do Bot Talk or Tokuchatsu. I should have made a tweet about this. Once Kenny gets back, we'll do those again since he's the most active host of those shows. For now, we're just going to be doing Sunday Night Stream. And tonight, we are covering a very interesting topic. Before I begin, though, very rude of me, I am your host, El Chizo, and I am joined today by...
I changed my YouTube name. I am That Gay Assassin.
It's a pleasure to have you on. So we're going to be talking about Atari's new console, the first console they've had in, I think, 20 years?
Yeah, 20 years.
Maybe more.
Probably more. Ataris are pretty old.
So firstly, let's go over how this console... The production name, as far as I was aware, was the Atari box, but they just announced that it will be released. Let's talk about how it got there first. It was crowdfunded. This is probably the first successful big company crowdfunding event ever.
Wow. Oh my god.
And it's called the Atari box. Now, I don't know how it happened. There must just be a lot of really old gamers who had to have the new console.
Probably.
So let's talk about some of its features. One, it is download only. Essentially, it means when you buy this console, you have to purchase games from Atari's online store.
Well then, the games... If the games aren't high quality, I'm going to be a little...
Yeah, that's the thing, is that there is no physical copy. So in order to get any kind of success, not only will they have to be releasing a bunch of their old games, they'll have to be developing good new games. I have not seen any pictures of the controller yet.
Wow. I kind of expect I don't know. I kind of expect the console to be like small and rectangular.
It is. The console is...
But the controller.
Oh, the controller?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen any pictures of it yet. I was trying to look it up, but my tablet went stupid on me.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything as far as what could be considered the Atari box's controller. It is small and rectangular, and it has faux wood paneling.
Wow.
There is nothing released on the controller yet, but I would not be surprised if you could sync up the all controller to this thing.
True. I wonder if that was their intention, to sync up the old controllers.
No, not the old controllers. It's another crowdfunded project by a game channel on YouTube called Rerez that he invested in. It's called the All Controller. It is a controller that is compatible with all platforms.
I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that.
I know, it's going to be cool. So I don't know how they're going to work. There are no physical ports on it, so it's got to be all wireless.
I wonder how that's going to go.
Yeah, it will be interesting, I think. As long as they don't do anything terribly gimmicky with the controllers, I think they'll be fine. Maybe a different placement of the analog sticks to improve comfort. Maybe like a controller where the analog sticks are on the outside and then the buttons are further in.
Yeah.
And that's just what I would have.
It's going to be interesting.
It is going to be very interesting. And while we're on that subject, why don't we launch right into that? The implications this has for the gaming community. Now, for a long time, Atari was just making software licensed under Microsoft.
Yeah.
First release of a console in years. Since they dropped off the market, the giants in the gaming community have been Nintendo, PlayStation, i.e. Sony, Microsoft, i.e. Xbox, and PC.
Yep.
So Atari, being another company owned by Microsoft, must be releasing this console as a different division. But that also means that Microsoft has two horses in the big console war, race.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that means that the Atari box is going to have to work harder to distinguish itself. But if it should do this successfully, that means that a whole new level to the console wars will open up. What I'm hoping is that this is not Atari's new formula. I'm hoping this is an attempt to springboard them into their next big console, which will have physical media, kind of like Nintendo did with the Wii U to get them ready for the Switch.
Yeah. Hopefully that's what's gonna happen. Hopefully.
Now,
I feel like a lot of older people, like my mom or people who have played Atari before, would actually really like the system, though.
Well, it would depend on the games, because it would have to have new and innovative games as well as the old ones to sell.
True.
Speaking of the old ones, two things they got to do. They have to release Sword Quest Waterworld and Sword Quest Airworld.
Yeah.
It has to happen. The quest needs to be completed.
Yes, it does. It needs to be completed, definitely.
I mean, well, even the Angry Video Game Nerd made a whole video on Sword Quest, so if y'all want to go check that out, feel free. Long story prizes, real gold and jewel prizes that were worth thousands of dollars at the time, and you can round that up. And the winner would have gotten a sword with a silver blade and a gold handle, just encrusted with all these gems and stamped with the Atari logo right at the crossguard. Friggin' Atarians deserve that sword, okay? Unfortunately, the originals were the last three treasures, the crown, the philosopher's stone, and the sword, were reportedly melted down for their jewels.
Yeah.
Atari, I'm hoping what's going to happen is that this is just a big springboard attempt so that Atari can launch their new console, build up revenue, and if they can, please finish this contest.
That's all we're asking for.
That's the big thing we're asking for, essentially. But we also want new games. Don't get us wrong. We want new Pac-Man. We want new everything. But we also like the old stuff. So don't feel afraid to expand your horizons. Just do it right. We're on the subject. Why don't we talk about the aesthetics of the console itself? Now, as it's laid out, it has a black plastic top and sides with air vents going all the way around. No, it has a black plastic top, but the siding is that faux wood paneling, and the Atari logo on the top is also done in sort of a wood veneer.
Isn't it bad to have wood on an electronic device?
It depends on the cooling systems, actually. If it is modern hardware, which I would assume it would be, then they would have found ways to vent heat away from the wood.
That would make sense, yeah.
Furthermore, if it's just imitation wood, then we really don't have a lot to...
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting here is that they're going for that old aesthetic. And the reason that's interesting is because a lot of the new consoles, they want to look sleek and black and sexy. They want to be the centerpiece of your room. But the wood paneling, the reason that was put on stuff like the Odyssey and the Atari 2600 was to help it blend in with your home decor, because a lot of homes had wood paneled walls and wooden furniture, and the TV was usually set on a wooden desk or a wooden table. And a console that blends in and fits the aesthetic of older furniture, essentially.
Yeah.
Now, because it's download only and, no disk drive, no controller ports or nothing, I think that's going to bring the price down to a point where it will be affordable for gamers at an entry-level budget.
Yeah, most likely. Most likely it's going to be more affordable for everyone.
Which is going to be great for its sales numbers, as long as they don't do what Nintendo has been doing with the NES Mini and the Super Nintendo Mini.
Yeah, they should steer away from that.
If they get this out there, if they just run up their numbers and keep producing it at a fair price, they will have more than enough money to continue building consoles and to re-enter war.
Now, what do you think just based on assumption of what we know about it, what do you think the price range would be?
Say probably somewhere in the range of the upper hundreds to $200.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought probably 150, 200 or somewhere around there.
Somewhere within that range. Definitely nowhere near 300.
No.
Especially considering that you have to register an account with them so that you can buy stuff from their store.
Yeah.
Of course, it could also be said that maybe just buying this console, because it doesn't have physical media, would automatically give you sort of an online account just based off of the IP number.
Yeah, kind of like the PSN for PlayStation.
Kind of, yeah. So now let's talk one more big implication. Atari, for a long time, has been considered a sleeping giant in the gaming community. We know what they're capable of making. Now with a new console. If this is successful to the point where they can build a new console, that means that might start coming out of the woodwork independent companies, old giants like ColecoVision. Just hear me out. Maybe Sega decides to get back into the hardware business. Maybe they finish that idea for developing their own phone.
I would love for them to go back into that business. I would love for that to happen.
Exact. Oh, speaking of gaming phones, I said this back when we did Tech Talk on Thursday nights, but I had an itching feeling were going to come into existence, and guess what? Fucking Razer did it. There is a gaming phone by Razer. I don't know what the implications of it are. I don't know if it means that it'll be primarily keyed towards gaming apps or if games will be released specifically for it, but it's got the hardware. The trouble is that it's Razer. Razer hardware, while very functional, tends to have a habit of not being able to take punishment.
Yeah, I've heard that about Razer. Yeah.
Now, however, I would be very interested in seeing Razer release a heavy-duty protective case with built-in physical controls.
That would be very handy.
Face it, real gamers, we like a real controller. I mean, like, even something like this. We like a real controller.
What controller is that?
Oh, this is the Nyko Airflow. It's a PC controller with fans built in the handles to cool your hands off.
Wow.
As well as high grip rubber around the air vents.
All I have is a PS4 controller.
For your PC or just for PS4?
Just for PS4. I don't have a PC. I wish I did.
Some of my controller reviews, because Tier 1 really likes me. Cammy Electronics and Plastics put me on the reviewer list. I'm very glad for that. This is great if you can find drivers for it. This is the Tier 1 PlayStation 3 FPS tournament controller. That's had the little gel cap stuck on.
Oh, wow.
And those two big buttons in the back can be mapped to other buttons as well. So if you want to play an FPS on your PC, you would never have to take your hands off the sticks to jump or use the action button.
Oh my God.
You'd have to probably run it through an Xbox controller emulator first, but it would work.
Yeah, probably.
This I also like because even though it doesn't have rumble functions, it's got fans. So that gets us down to the possibilities of the Atari controller, the new one. Now, we've seen that they are not afraid to throw a lot of buttons onto a controller. I mean, the Atari Jaguar controller is proof enough of that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm hoping they don't do that. I'm hoping they keep the controller at a low price point. Sturdy, but like affordable. Do not make the controllers as expensive as a game.
Yeah. That's gonna like kind of drive away people.
Yeah, because if you make the controllers easy to replace, even if they don't have a lot packed in them, even if they don't have some kind of gimmick, they're going to sell well. You're going to have people buying 2, 3, 4 at a time just because they want, more controllers to play with their friends. Let the doors open to third-party controllers again.
Exactly.
And I guess that's all we can really say for the Atari box, but we can still keep going for like another 30 minutes. So while we're on the subject of controllers, what would you say is your holy grail of a controller? And what would you say is your old reliable?
Well, given that I've only held PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 controllers for the past couple years, I would have to say I actually like the PS4 controller a lot.
Well, that's a very fair.
I have words. I have played Xbox 360. I've played GameCube. I've played the Wii. I've played multiple things, but I really like the PS4 controller.
That's your old reliable?
Yeah.
I guess I've never really searched into using the PS4 controller on my PC. Like it if there was like a driver that allowed you to use the touchpad as a mouse.
I think that might be possible. I know my friend was able to do that. Because I got my PS4 from my friend. So
fair enough. My old reliable would have to be the Sabrent PC controller.
that's
This
a lot
is
of
my test control. That's why it's my test controller. Every time I get a new game, if it's got map your own control functions to it, I always throw this on there because map your own controls means that it's usually it usually supports open input. What's it called? Not X input, the other one.
Ow. What was that called? I can't remember for the life of me.
The other one besides X input, and that usually means that there's going to be a lot of buttons that you're going to need to map. So that's why I like to use this. That way, I've got those two extra buttons in case I need them to map extra controls to.
I'll tell you one thing about PlayStation controllers and PlayStation in general that I don't like. Really, PlayStation, really. And it just did it right now. Every time any word you say that has play in it, the controller will hear it and the screen will go into like search mode.
I'm glad mine doesn't do that. Maybe I missed an update.
It's like I say PlayStation and it'll just go like, what would you like to search? I was like, really?
As far as my Excalibur goes, my the game controller that I probably will always use if I can, that's going to be the tier 1. I have never had a more comfortable controller that gives me more access. I know that there are other controllers and people mod them, but so far this is my Excalibur. If there is a controller modder out there that would like me to review a modified controller, as long as it's compatible with PC, I would love to see it.
That reminds me. There was I can't remember the name of the organization, but Markiplier did a charity live stream not too long ago, and he was raising money for people for this organization that helps people that have no hands or anything so that they can play
I've
games.
heard of that.
Yeah, and they have this whole like head contraption where they can move the character and jump with their eyes and everything, and I thought that was really cool.
I think that's a great invention, and I love it when companies try to do that. Like the guy who designed the PS4 controller actually got a letter from a boy with cerebral palsy. His thumb would keep twitching and hitting the thumb pad, and it would take him out of the game. And he sent them to see if there was like another option, if they could send him a different controller. And the guy who invented the controller sent him a letter saying he was sorry there was nothing he could do, but then worked night and day so that he could map the button part of the touchpad to a button on the back of the controller that was harder to push. So he had to be more deliberate so he wouldn't just twitch and hit it. And sent it to him.
That is awesome.
Let's talk about our holy grails as far as controllers go. Like the controller that we've got to have because we know it would improve our gaming skills, yada, yada, yada.
In that case, I don't think I'm a lot better at using just the normal keys on a computer. I'm terrible at using controllers.
So maybe for you, and may I offer a suggestion? As far as like something for you, let me just see if I can. I've got one right here, and I love it. Hold on, cable is stuck on something. Well, I'll just hold it upside down. A Logitech G13.
Ooh.
That little screen there, it's actually got several functions. It's a display that lets you know what setting you're in. It's got a news. You can actually look up, set it to a special news stream, depending on what you like. It will display the weather, the time.
Wow.
And like you can create and map new profiles. Not only that, but it will actually search up preferred keyboard profiles from the game that you want to play, and run it through the drivers, and run it through its own drivers to create a gaming profile for all your different games.
Okay.
Let's see. I got.
I'm trying to
bring it up here.
Chat.
No one's there just yet.
No.
Yeah, you just have to download the Logitech gaming software, which, by the way, from that software, you can customize the color of the lights in your G13.
Dude. Oh my god, that is awesome.
Yeah, I would recommend getting one. It's actually really great. And if you can't afford that one, I used to use a Belkin Nostromo N52, which is a step down. It doesn't have the screen. It's essentially just one half of the keyboard. Software to map different profiles as well. The software you can just find online for free. It's a little more arched. It fills the hand a bit more, if you like that, and it's got nice heavy mechanical keys instead of the membrane or these membrane ones on the G13.
That sounds nice, actually.
But like I know screen, and get the Belkin Nostromo, not the Razer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Razer fans. I'm not fighting for your team. I'm sorry.
It's like, I'm sorry. I know I'm like triggering all of you, but you know.
It's like I've had experience with Razer products, and here's the thing. Okay, I've never owned a Razer product, but I ended up owning a friend a lot. I actually need to get a new gaming mouse. If y'all want to suggest a gaming mouse, that'd be great. to run this, and it got beer spilled on it, and it don't work no more.
God. That's terrible.
It's just a cheap little $6 Rappu ergonomic mouse.
Wow.
I know there are better ones out there that actually, because the mouse sends signals to the computer at intervals of time, and I know that the higher that, or the smaller that interval of time is, the better the mouse is.
Yeah.
So if y'all want to send some ideas for a gaming mouse and maybe a gaming mouse pad, because I like all these different ways of controlling my games.
That reminds me, I wanted your opinion on a gaming headset with a microphone on it, because everyone that I've gotten, the wire breaks almost instantly. Okay.
I'm not using this microphone because this microphone is better, but this is actually a great affordable headset. Hold on just a second, I forget. I so rarely look at the name of this. Sorry, it's the Sadie's SA708. I'm sure they probably make a model that's sturdier with a better microphone, but you know, this has a lot of flex to it, which I think is a bonus because, you know, I have a weird shaped head. The microphone works. There is a mic on off down here. I'm actually running these through my microphones. So it's got the split leads so that you can
Oh, okay. Yeah, because every headset I get it
so
within like a week.
well, it depends. Are you looking for primarily a PC or a PlayStation headset?
PlayStation.
Your audio cut out for a second. What are you looking for?
PlayStation.
PlayStation? Then it'd be a little bit trickier because this is the split lead thing. I would probably recommend something you might have to bite the bullet, but something kind of sturdy, which would be expensive.
Yeah.
Or get a little Bluetooth earpiece.
True.
I'm sure they make. I'm sure they make high quality ones. I know a lot of them aren't that great quality. If you've got something against something in your ear though, yeah, you'll probably have to bite the bullet and get something kind of big and fancy.
Yeah. The last this is funny, the last headset I had that worked with the PlayStation was a Razer headset.
Oh, I can see why that broke. And again, it's not the performance of Razer products that I have a problem with. I think they perform astonishingly well. It's their resistance to punishment that bugs me. It's they have no resistance to any kind of punishment. And if you've ever gamed and been in a high intensity situation, you're gonna go into push down to make it do more mode.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you don't have an analog keyboard or an analog or every button on your controller being analog, then you're gonna be screwed.
Yeah, basically.
And I don't know, it's just Belkin, when they were doing this kind of stuff, were amazing at it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess we got 15 minutes left that we have to fill, and then an optional 15 minutes after that. So I guess for the next 15 minutes, let's talk about what my holy grail controller would be, or at least we'll get started on that. And then if you think of something, we'll go into that because this won't take very long.
So, I don't have to talk about anything.
So if you think of something after like this, which it should only take 5 minutes to explain, let's go into that because I'm after the Atari box. I guess the only thing to talk about would be the production name Cloud9. So let's talk about the Grifta controller, which never really got off the ground. If you've heard of it.
I have heard of it.
It's supposed to be compatible with PC, Xbox. It's like an all controller
Yeah.
with, but with a special device that allows you to essentially force the game to obey motion controls because the controller will send these motions through a device that are sent as regular inputs. Furthermore, all of the buttons are mechanical.
I did not hear that all the buttons were mechanical.
Well, all the face buttons, the triggers are analog.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the face buttons are mechanical, which I like. Not to mention it can actually be split apart, so that no matter how you like to rest your hands always have a controller in them. Or you can pair it with a mouse.
That is cool.
And I really want to get my hands on one.
I need the controller.
And it was never released. It was going to get crowdfunded, but never got off the ground. And I have to have one.
Oh my god.
Because, firstly, it looks like the most comfortable controller in the world because it's got pistol grips.
Oh my god. That'd be so comfortable, especially with people that have hand troubles.
Especially with people that have like arthritis and stuff, and with the motion control aspect of it. Imagine playing COD and you're just going around.
Oh my god, that would be perfect.
I think the motion control unit is only in the right hand unit though.
Yeah,
so if you're a lefty, it might suck.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's left-handed. Like that would be a huge complaint for him.
Yeah.
But you know, it's also got. They were going to release a mobile version of it. If I can ever find one, I'm getting one.
Same. If I can find one, I'm definitely getting.
So that's about it for the Grifta. Any thoughts? Because otherwise, we're just going to be talking about the production name Cloud9.
I have a lot of thoughts in my head, but none of them pertain to gaming.
Well, then how about we talk about... Okay, so Cloud9 was the production name of a console produced independently by college students with pretty good hardware, and presented to Sega, offering with an offer for them to produce it, licensed under them, or for an offer for them to for Sega to license it from them to sell as the Dreamcast 2. Now, they also said that if Sega turned them down, they would produce it themselves, and Sega did turn them down, so they're looking for crowdfunding right now. And this kind of brings us full circle. If the Atari box does well and successfully launches Atari back into the game, these kids could release this console.
True. The whole Atari box getting really, really helped those college students.
Yeah, you see, the success of the Atari box actually means really good things for the gaming community. So that means that even if you're like a PlayStation warrior, or you're an Xbox diehard, or you're just a Nintendo hippie, even if you're PC Master Race, get this console. Because what that's going to do is that's going to improve. It's going to provide more options to the game community, which forces the companies to work harder to create good, desirable exclusives so that their consoles and equipment sell. Which means better games. Yes, there's going to be some awful, awful ones mixed in, but you know what? That's the price you pay. Remember back in the day when there was like 1,000 different consoles on the market?
Yeah.
And with this Razer. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Atari box is gonna really like bring together the gaming community in a way.
Maybe not directly. It's like people aren't going to say, "Oh, the Atari box brought us all together," but I think it will be indirectly responsible for a better gaming environment. One thing I gotta say though is like, with the advent of the Razer gaming phone, more companies are gonna try to get into the mobile market, the mobile, the portable gaming market again, not just phones. Like it'd be cool if Xbox made a phone, or like I guess any Windows phone really, or if Sony tried again at a phone, gaming phone, or if Nintendo created something called the Teleboy.
Yeah. I feel like in order to make a gaming phone, there's a lot of high expectations for that kind of thing.
I think there's actually a lot of low expectations because the only real
people I know, they have high expectations for that kind of stuff.
There are like diehard mobile gaming fans too that will buy all this cool equipment to make their phone into more of a portable gaming console. And there are like, you have to pay for these gaming apps, but they are, complete games.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to pay like $5 or $10 for a full-fledged game on your phone, then I think a gaming phone would be great. The trouble is that if it's just an app,
it's just it's not like an actual game that you're
like,
inserting into the
like
device.
Mario Runner, it was a half-baked game.
Yeah.
It was a one-touch, you just touch it and Mario jumps. Wouldn't warrant $10. I wouldn't even want a gaming phone for it. But if they made a full-fledged platforming game that was three-dimensional, with an in-depth... Yeah. The trouble is that these gaming phones are going to have either a huge amount of onboard memory or a specialized, compact, high-density memory unit that you can swap out.
Yeah.
A memory stick, if you will.
Yeah. Oh, have you heard of the new Mario game, Mario Odyssey?
I have heard of it. It's the first open world Mario game, and it was the game that made Nintendo decide that Mario is no longer a plumber.
Yep. Yep. I've seen
the story I heard about that, by the way, just real quick, is that according to Japanese law, you're only allowed to claim a profession without doing it for so long. And because Mario has not plumbed anything in a very long time, probably the only profession he could claim is doctor, because that's the only game he's had recently that has him fulfilling a profession. And if anything, he's not really a doctor, he's a pharmacist.
Yeah. Now, I've seen playthroughs of Mario Odyssey, and it looks like a really cool game because you don't just I mean, the main character you control is Mario, but Mario can turn into all these enemies and objects and stuff, and it brings a whole nother aspect to the Mario world.
Which I think was needed for the game, honestly. It's something fresh.
Yep.
That did not take away from like the core concept of Mario jumping around and exploring.
Yeah.
And as long as they're able to maintain a fantastical, magical aspect to the game, I think it'll be a great Mario game.
Exactly.
So that's pretty much like we've got about 5 more minutes that we have to fill. So any last thoughts, if you like hopes for the future of the gaming community, I guess would be a good thing to end this on.
Well, I actually, about PlayStation 4, I kind of hope it evolves a little bit. I heard that at some point I heard a rumor that they were planning on making a PlayStation 5. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But there's a lot of improvements that need to be made with PlayStation. For like,
you know what? I won't deny that. Even having grown up with the PlayStation 2 as my first console, yeah, there's some work that needs to be done. I think mostly what needs to be done with it is they need to start moving away from focusing on like the big epic games with that take vast amounts of memory to generate these huge landscapes,
like
beautiful
indie games and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, and like just get back to the cartoony stuff for like a little bit, or at least not get back to it, but expand into it again. You know, reach your feelers out in there again, because people still want to play those games. If they're well made, they're going to be great. Like the new Snake game. It's instead of just being a snake that goes around and eats pellets and gets longer, and if he touches himself, he dies. It's a 3D platformer. The eating pellets to get longer is still a thing.
Yeah.
But it's an entirely new experience. If you just expand into stuff like that, any gaming console, I think,
and
it will take.
It's kind of like
it will benefit from that.
I kind of think with PlayStation that what I would like is with like a newer version of PlayStation, if you can also play PS3 games or PS2 games on it.
Well, that's the thing. Sony seems to be doing that with their earlier versions of the new consoles. Like the earlier PS3 could play PS2 and PS1 games, and the earlier PS4 could play PS3 games. The trouble is that they only have that for a limited amount of time at the start of the release, and that's because the hardware cost is murder.
Yeah. But I
drives the price.
I don't know. That's kind of what I wish for the PS4, is that like you could put in PS3 discs instead of, because with PS4 you have to get PS Now in order to play PS3 games. And every time I've tried to get PS Now or PlayStation Plus, after the membership ends, they restart a new membership without my permission. Even though I turn off automatic renewal. And that just irritates me to no end.
Yeah, I could see why that would be kind of annoying.
It's put me in negatives in my bank account like 5 times.
Yeah, that's kind of shady. So I think. But do they refund you when you call them, telling them what your problem was?
Yeah, they refund me. Yeah, they've refunded every single time.
So that's something that Sony I think needs to work on.
Yeah.
I would like to see. Let's talk about some of the old gaming companies that we would like to see re-enter the console war with the advent of the new Atari box. Let's search into some other, because we're entering a gaming renaissance here.
I kind of want Sega.
Sega entering the console market, I think, is less likely because
it's less likely, but I kind of would like to see it.
Well, the thing is, like, just wanting to see it is not going to be what gets them to make a new console. There has to be a dedicated community to buy it. Now, Atari is always going to get people to buy it because, let's face it, it's Atari. They were in the video game business, or at least the exchangeable cartridge platform business, long before Nintendo was.
Yeah. Let's see, like, I'm a hardcore Sega fan, and so are a lot of my friends. So, I don't know, like, even if they were only to base the console off of one specific game, I myself would find it worth it.
I think if they were to do it, they would have to do something like the Switch is doing in order to catch up, because they're Nintendo's old rival, and they've released games on Nintendo. But if they make a new console, they're essentially saying we can still do what Nintendo's doing now. They're either going to have to do that, or they're going to have to do what Atari's doing and say, hey, we can be new and innovative and modern.
True.
Nintendo itself is doing the same thing with the Switch. It's saying, hey, we can have third-party support. We can be a modern console, but at the core, we're still one of the older companies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Sega will have to do as well, and that's what Atari's doing as well. gonna have to be the formula for all the old sleeping giants. We're still our old selves, but we can keep up with the young heads too, or the young bloods too.
Yeah, and
It's old grandpa, like old athletes getting back in the game, old boxers. Just
yeah. I'll tell you one thing. One game system that I always wish I had for myself is the Wii. It's just
I actually
because
have the Wii, and
I don't have a Wii, and I want a Wii because I want Dance Revolution or whatever I can play on the Wii. Just a dance game, a singing game, something.
they've got Just Dance on the PS4, right?
Yeah, but I don't have the PlayStation Move.
Ah, yeah, that would kill it. Well, you can use your phone though.
You can?
Yeah,
You sure?
you have to get the app, but you can.
I have an Android phone. I don't know if you can use Android phone for that.
You'd have to look into it, I think. But at the same time, I don't think you would need a PlayStation Move just because the PS4 controllers have motion control in them.
Well, PlayStation Move is to add that specific type of motion control to the controller. Because the PlayStation controller by itself doesn't pick up full body movements. It's only if you turn the controller like this.
It's gyroscopic.
Yeah.
It's got a gimbal in it. Yeah, that's fair.
There is a Just Dance controller. What? Holy crap. I should get Just Dance. That's what I'll
Go for it.
weeks.
Well, I think we've just about talked ourselves out for this Sunday. Unfortunately, we didn't get any viewers, but hopefully we do once this gets converted to a video. Thanks for joining me, That Gay Assassin, or we'll just call you Assassin for short. So hopefully you're a regular staple on the dojo from now on. It's great that you're able to jump on. Hey! I actually love Assassination Classroom. I finished the first season recently.
This is a backpack.
That's a backpack. That's cool as hell.
It costs $40.
Well, for not a lot of storage space, I don't see why it would cost that much.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have a lot of storage space at all. It's just kind of like this. That's how much storage space I got.
You could keep maybe your phone in there.
Yep, that's all that fits is my phone.
Oh, you know what? If you wanted to talk for another 10 minutes, I do have a subject that we could talk about.
Ooh, what?
Okay, so how much of how invested are you in good quality music listening?
Your definition of good quality or my definition?
Well, let's just look behind me for a second here. That's my hi-fi setup. There's the receiver. There's a 5-disc CD changer I have to
set up. A TV.
Well, I guess let's talk about portable music. Do you know what lossless music players are?
I got this music player.
Well, it's a speaker, I think, but like a lossless MP3 player.
I have not heard of that.
Well, the first thing I think it's important to define here is what a lossy file is, and that's the most common form of digital music these days is a lossy file. And what that does is it actually compresses it to the point where if you really listen, you can hear where the music starts to sound pixelated or chippy. A lossless music file is digital taken to the next level where it's not compressed, it's pure tone, but it is digital. Now, the trouble with that is that there are really expensive ones and really cheap ones, and it's hard to tell which ones to get. Now, Hi-Fi Man is a $500 MP3 player. but it is lossless. It is high fidelity, and it's got a butt ton of memory. The trouble is, it's about that thick.
Wow.
And that's because it needs all that extra hardware to produce good sound. Now, a lot of music purists will probably look at me and say, you don't need a lossless music file. You don't even need digital. Get some records and a tube amp.
Those two.
And it's like, I want a record player. I want a vertical record player. But they're expensive.
You know,
and
like, I'm into music, but like the only music I listen to is Korean and Japanese and like Swedish and Arabic and.
See, I'm a rock and roll and blues kind of guy.
See, I grew up on heavy metal and rock. And then I went straight to Korean and Japanese.
See, I was raised on rock and roll, kind of took a dive into a lot of the electronic stuff for a little bit, in, late middle school, early high school. Then I started getting back into rock and roll again, and then I started building this monster stack right here. Needs bigger speakers. It needs speakers that I could set on the floor and sit comfortably upon.
I actually saw outside at the dumpster, someone threw out an entire surround sound speaker set. And it was like, it wasn't damaged or anything. They just threw it out.
They probably upgraded their system and didn't want to sell it.
It was almost as tall as my wall.
Well, that's actually ridiculous.
Yeah. But the music I got into was Marilyn Manson. And that's actually when I was a baby, I used to headbang. While I was still in diapers, I would headbang to Marilyn Manson. And then I grew up with like Sublime, Korn, and Metallica, and all these great groups that I still listen to. I still like them. And then as I got older, I got into Justin Bieber. I got into Kanye West. I got into Katy Perry. I got into Wiz Khalifa and Lil Wayne. And then
the pop idols.
Yeah. And then I grew out of that and started listening to J-pop. That's when I got into anime. And then after I was all full-blown into anime, I had friends that introduced me to K-pop.
It's a weird genre.
Yeah, I was all about K-pop, and I'm still all about K-pop.
I actually like J-rock a lot. Wagaki Band is one of my favorite ones.
Kenny likes J-rock a lot, too.
Yep, I'm a big fan of Gact.
So is he. He's, like, obsessed with Gact.
Okay, and I'm saying this as a straight man with no shame. He's got a pretty voice.
I'm saying this as a gay man who has a boyfriend. That is actually Kenny. Gact, man, come on.
He got a look about him, don't he?
Yeah.
Like, you could just see it's like he's gonna have no problem getting girls.
Exactly.
He's gonna have no problem getting anyone.
I know.
All he has to do is open his mouth and pants drop. I want that power.
I have that power for some reason. I've noticed it because, but it only works with my friends. It only works with my friends. I'll go to my friends and they'll be like, my pants keep falling down, why? And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's me. I'm sorry. I have very low self-esteem, though. I just act like I have high self-esteem.
Fake it till you make it. As long as you're comfortable enough acting like you got high self-esteem, eventually, it makes you. It means you're putting yourself out there. You're trying something, and that takes a little. That takes guts.
Yep.
Personally, as far as like J rock goes, I do, like I said, I like Wagaki Band. I like Gacked. Back On is kind of interesting. It's kind of a pop rock, I know, but it's.
Have you ever heard of Baby Metal?
I have, and I've been shown a few of their songs by my bandmate.
Like, I love Baby Metal. I love Baby Metal.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Do you know how old the girls are?
I want to. I think my bandmate said they were like 15.
Younger.
How old are they? They're younger. I see.
The tallest girl, which is the main singer, she is 10. And the other two are 5.
See, I've never seen pictures of them, so I wouldn't know. But that's actually really impressive. They're able to get into like.
In one of their songs, the little girls literally, they're like. The only way I can explain it is they do screamo.
So they actually do. Okay, screaming is a weird talent too, and the fact that they're able to do it without destroying their vocal cords.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you were a J-pop fan, right? Has Kenny shown you the Kamen Rider Girls yet?
No, but I have a feeling he's going to now.
It is a pop group. It is a pop group, and they do write original pieces, but they mostly do covers, pop covers of old Kamen Rider songs. And they are often hired on by Toei, because they are sponsored by Toei, produced by Toei, to write songs for the new series. As a matter of fact, they did most of the music for Kamen Rider Wizard.
I haven't even started Kamen Rider.
Well, if you like J-pop, Kamen Rider Wizard's a good place to start. Because it's loaded down with that kind of music. Like, okay, you know what? After this stream, I am going to give you a video to watch. Or I'm going to send you a link to a very good... I'm just going to give you the name of the song. It's and you can look it up on YouTube. But I think that's really all the time we have tonight. We've completed a full hour of streaming, which lately has been very difficult to do. So thank you all so much for watching this as the video later. Remember to follow us on Twitter now. That's where we're going to be active. We are at weekend_dojo, all lowercase. Remember to follow That Gay Assassin on his channel. And remember to follow me on Elcha's Reviews. I know I've not been active lately. Hopefully that's going to change very soon. What with the rise of the holiday season. And I guess that's it. So thank you all again. And as always, we will see you next time, Weekend Warriors.